What is going on, everyone, and welcome to a special video. So every now and then I like to do these unique videos. It's very hit or miss whether people like it, but usually we just go through the market and just kind of look at all the prices of things and see where, like, what's good, what's like popular and whatnot. So while we're doing that, I'm gonna set up my cooking. We're just gonna be making chicken beer today. A lot of people surprisingly don't know this recipe even exists, even though it was on the patch notes, but at one point. But yeah, so if you want to know how to get like 1 second cooking, this is how I do it. You can do this without the costume. I have it, but let's say if you want to do it without the costumes, you would have to use draft, a spirit stone. Of course, if you have the better spirit stone, you don't even need to use the draft. But what I'm going to be using is a +3 cooks costume. We're going to be using cron food, but if you don't have the cron food, I just want to get this all out of the way because I know a lot of people do ask. If you're kind of just on a budget, don't care about anything, you can make Tef sandwiches or buy one on the market. This reduces your alchemy and cooking time, and of course we're using advanced cooking utensils. So I'm gonna get mine started and let's have this one set. And I think we have everything up and running. I don't really think we will need the draft, but I mean, whatever. So this is the recipe for the chicken beer. Hold on, am I missing anything? I don't think I'm missing any buffs or anything before I get started. You got food, lifestone up, cooking clothes, costume. Well, like 1.2 seconds, whatever. Anyway, with that said, we got ours started. For all of you do wondering, my cooking is Master 10, not that it really matters. Anything above, like, I think Master 1 or Master 2, you can get like the max procs or something. And then if you're doing Imperial, I think Master 10 is where it caps out for various things. But if you're just cooking, Master 1 is good enough. Imperial, Master 10 is where everything caps out. So yeah, with that said, let's go browse the market. Just once again, this video is going to be very hit or miss. You're either going to like it or you probably won't care. So this is on the NA server. You guys can compare it if you are on EU or any other server in general. Obviously, if you're on KR watching this, your prices will probably be drastically different. But for NA EU, I would assume this is kind of similar. And I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on everything. So let's go with the main weapons. I did a video of this a few months ago, and it was kind of long, so we're going to shorten this down. We're going to look at basically the important items only, and that means Tet and Pen. Try everything could be bought for around $7.50, but I just kind of want to see the ridiculous pre-orders for things. And yeah, let's start with Zarka. Alright, so in the current meta for NA at least, Witches, Wizards, Strikers, Mystic, High Priority. The flavor of the month classes are Sork and Ninja. Everything else is just kind of irrelevant but fun to play. Keep in mind those are just for like high tier node wars and sieges, so ultimately just play whatever class you want and have fun with it. DKs for myself personally, until you get like 261 AP or higher, you're basically irrelevant in any sort of PvP. But I mean, I can sort of fight back, but it's just if I'm matched gear, I'll just get wrecked by the important classes. So that leads us to how much people are pre-ordering things for, and with that knowledge of what I just told you about the priority classes, kind of surprised on the Tet Zarka staff at 1.3. To be honest, I would have thought that anything Tet would go a lot higher. And let's see, what's the highest currently? If you're seeing like 1.2, that's just market price. Anything above that is probably pre-order. So a Tet Longsword is for Tamer, Kuno Ninja. Once again, flavor of the month class, highest pre-order. Same with Sork. And surprisingly, Warrior and Valk one is going for not too bad price. I think the person who bought it is probably playing a Warrior, but I mean, maybe one day. They work for both of them. 1.3 for a staff is kind of surprising, actually. I would have thought that goes up to 2 billion, but apparently not. And the new one that's kind of hard to get is the Often. Prices might be ridiculous. That is because it only comes from the Often boss right now, not from Night Vendor or anything. So, oh, well, let's, how many pens have been sold? No pen Offens. All right, so basically irrelevant. We don't have any pre-orders, not that I'm surprised. All right, next, let's go with, sub-weapons is kind of hard to, like, justify because I think in the current meta, you're either using Kudum or Nuver. Accuracy offhands is kind of not as important, but some people make like special evasion and accuracy builds. So let's look at the highest priority to the lowest priority. So let's say Nuver now. And of course we're looking at Tet only. Tet, Nuver, Ornamental Knot, 2.5 billion. That actually kind of surprises me a little bit. Not sure why, but it does. Musa and Meiwa are both really fun classes, so I'm not too surprised that that one's going for about 2.4. The DK one kind of does surprise me. And of course, the max price is 1.2, so if you see that price, it's just sold off of bid. No crazies. 2 billion for Nuver Shield. I guess I'd pay that if I really enjoyed Warrior a lot. I mean, Warriors aren't in a bad spot, but Strikers and Mystics are basically the same thing, but better at the current time. Yes, 2.7 for a Vambrace, which is for Striker and Mystic. No one can really say they're surprised with that. I think for Sork, I'd see one up to like 2.5, I guess. Shuriken, Kuno, Ninja, 2.1, not surprised. Everything else. Oh yeah, well actually, it's kind of weird how both Kuno and Ninja can use both the Shuriken and Kunai. However, Ninjas do use Shurikens and Kunos use the Kunai. I don't really understand it. I only have a 56 Kuno. I don't play Ninja at all, but maybe there's just some skills on a tree line, but you can use technically both of them for either one, but I think just separate skills. Before we do anything, let me check that Crescent. How much did that get pre-ordered? So that Tet Crescent, I would assume it got pre-ordered between 12 to 17 billion. $15 billion for that? To be honest, I don't really know if that's a good or not price. I would pay, if I were to pre-order one, I'd probably do like 12 to 13. 15 seems like a bit much, but I mean, people have too much money in this game, so whatever. And has there been any Pen Nuvers sold? Pen Nuver Dagger for 18 billion? That doesn't seem like a lot, to be honest. Like, some dude bought a Tet Crescent when they could buy it for like a few billion more. You get a pen, which gives you technically more stats than a try. Huh. 17 billion for a Hornbow. It's kind of, I don't know, these prices kind of surprise me a little bit. I would expect things, any pen boss gear that's like, you know, relevant, to go above 20, but surprises me too. All right, next is Kudum. There are no Kudums that have been sold this week that are pen. All right, so Tet, 1.9 for a Vambrace, not surprised. 1.8 for a Dagger, also not really surprised. Hornbow, 1.6, seems about right. So basically, if you're deciding whether you want to play a Ninja or Kuno, well, if you want the cheaper option, you play Kuno. If you want the slightly stronger option, play Ninja. But ultimately, I think they're both good. It's not really much to see here. Most of these just went straight to bid. I don't really know how to look for accuracy things because there's just different ones for everything. The only one I really know is Sayer, and that one's for Zerker and DK. A pen Sayer. Oh, that's not a pre-order. That just someone just kind of bought it. To be honest, I would probably buy a pen Sayer, even though it's not really great in the meta. But I'd probably buy one for like 800 mil. Maybe it'll be good one day. But at the same time, like, you really don't need that much accuracy. Even if people are going full evasion, I think if you just wore like a red coral earring or something, or maybe 2 red coral earrings, you would get enough accuracy to clear it, and you would have enough AP to just like beat out other people. Well, this one gives a lot of DP but a lot of accuracy. I think I'd rather have a trade-off with more AP and slightly less accuracy, but red corals are still known for their accuracy. Yeah, I don't know if that made sense to you at all, but I'd rather have AP and accuracy over the DP and accuracy. Alright, let's go to Awakening, the most important one for everybody. Let's start with Tet first, and of course we're going to the important ones. Tet Vediant, 2.6 billion. Not really sure why. DKs are strong when you have 261 and up. I don't have 261 and up, so I wouldn't know what being a OP DK felt like. Kara Spear for Meiwa, 2.3. Seems reasonable. I think, in general, the most I'd pay for a Tet Dandy of any kind is probably like 2 to 2.2 billion. But, I don't know. Like, why is a Vediant 2.6, but someone pre-ordered a Tet Striker for 1.9? Like, Striker will beat out DK 100% of the time. Actually, Striker will just beat out every class 100% of the time if you're gear matched. Let's see. 2.4 for a Tet Dandy for Witch. 3 billion for Mystic. I want one of these for Mystic one day. I think we're getting kind of close to our next Dandy box for Karanda, and I'm going to get a box and then open it as a Cestus, and we're going to be enhancing that at some point within the next month, hopefully. So look out for that at some point. 2 billion for a Zerker Dandy, 2.45 for Ninja. Once again, as I mentioned before, if you want to play the cheaper class, play Kuno. The cooler, I don't know if it's cooler, but like more damage, I guess. Play the Ninja. I'd really do like the Chakram though. It's really fun to use. I really thought playing a Kuno was really fun. I actually made a mini series of it where I grinded from like, I don't know, like level 15 to 56, and then we did our Awakening. It's pretty fun. I enjoyed that one. Let's see. 2 bill for a Tamer one. I kind of wanted to try a Tamer at some point, but it's just like not high on my priority list. I do want to get all my characters to at least 56 throughout my entire BDO career, but as you all may know, gearing up a new class is pretty expensive, and so maybe if I'm still playing this like 2 years down the line from now, we'll have everything at 56. I could do it in 4 hours a character, but I don't know. Once I get to 56, it's like you can't really grind anywhere else unless you have some sort of gear nowadays. Pen Tamer Dandy, 16 billion. That's pretty low. Pen Ninja Dandy for 15.6. Also pretty low for a priority class. Tamer is not priority, but it's a fun class to play. Ninja is like high priority class for like 1v1s. And the fact that someone paid 21.7 bill for a Valkyrie Dandy is, I mean, that I would say that's like average price, how much I would pay for like any Dandy that's pen, but I feel like they could have lowered it a bit for the Valkyrie because they are not in a great spot right now. But I mean, winning a pen Dandy is winning a pen Dandy. Whatever, if you have it, just max out your entire bank and buy one. Just kind of surprised that DK weapons are higher than usual. Like, we saw the Nuver for DK was at a high price. Dandy, I don't know. I really just don't think DKs are in the strong late game, but until you get to that late game point, they're not so great. Now we're getting into the kind of tricky part. Just to save all of your time, we're going to be looking at the important ones only. So let's start with helmets. Pen Gaiath for 6 build. That I don't know actually. Like, I know people in the current meta are running Griffin, and the fact that the pre-order is almost double. Like, I would use a Pen Gaiath over a... Well, actually, I know Griffin is technically better if paired with the Urgons, but ultimately, if you just have one or the other, it doesn't really matter. I think Blade bought that one. So, 12.5 is... that seems reasonable. And then 6 bill is... I would absolutely use a Pen Gaiath over a Tet Griffin, because it's straight up just more DP. You lose a little bit of DR at the gain of a little bit of extra health, and of course if you're using Tet versus Pen, it's a difference of like 3, I believe. 3 or 5, one of those two. I think 5. But yeah, overall, if you can get a Pen Griffin, that's great. Otherwise, if you're on budget, I guess you can go for a Pen Gaiath. I've seen a few Pen Gaiaths go up throughout my career, and one of them, the fact that this, like, I think you probably could have gotten that for like 5 billion, to be honest. I've seen it not even get pre-ordered at some point. So very interesting. Let's see what's there for Tet. Tet Rokaba. I feel like if you're going the evasion build and want a Rokaba, whoa, let me try that again. Rokaba, you want Tet or Tet with some Capra stones in it, or Pen with Capra stones in it. Otherwise, just base ones, you might as well just use something else. Tet Gaiath for less than... Huh. Now that I think of it, if I wanted a pen stack, I might as well just buy, like, Gaiath helms at Tet and just smash them. Alright, Arma. Pen. What are we looking at? 15 billion for Pen Dimtree. Dimtree is best in slot, so there's really no price for it. I would pay 15 billion. What else do people use? I think that's about it. Red Nose is just... If you have enough money to be able to pre-order a Pen Red Nose, you might as well just save up a little bit more and go for the Dimtree. It's just straight up better. Other than that, the only pieces you use Rokaba are for helmet and gloves. Actually, let me see something. Tet Dimtree, 4.1 billion. Jesus. I can like 100% guarantee you I can upgrade one from 0 to Tet in less than 4 billion without without artisans. It would probably be about 2.5 to 3, but 90, I would say actually 90% of the time I could do that in under 4 billion. All right, moving on. Pen Blegs, nothing has been sold. Any Tets? anything crazy this week. Alright. Shoes. There's two options these days for boss gear. You want either muskins or uragons. I would honestly recommend uragons to, I would say, 14 out of 16 of the classes, but even the other two would still be fine using it. Pen uragons, 14 billion. Would buy. Very worth. You guys want to see something dumb? Let's look at Uragon in general. The pre-orders for a base, 1 billion. Basically 1 billion, 10 million. If you're about to drop 1 billion on a base Uragon shoes, 10 million means nothing to you. 702 mil. 1.8 for a try is kinda a lot, to the point where you might as well just spend that money like buying energy and just rolling Nightbender until you get it. 14 billion is reasonable for pen, but I think I would not spend this much on any Uragons. I personally have 2 sets of Uragon shoes. One I got from the box that they gave literally everyone for slogging in. The event is already over. It's been over for a few months, but one of those I got from there, and the other one I got from Nightbender for about like 220. You can actually watch that video too of me enhancing it from 0 to try, and then we just kind of got it off camera. So cool. Don't spend 1 billion on it. I guarantee just wait a little bit longer. Probably get it from Nightbender and enhance it all the way up to like try for the same price. So just keep that in mind. Just a little tip from someone who's been playing this game for a really long time. Same with Dimtree. Their stupid pre-orders like 550 million for a base, and all of these like ridiculous pre-orders. It's actually gone down a little bit, but Dimtrees are like, they are technically best in slot armor for a chest piece, but I don't think I would spend like 500 mil on a base to that. I'd probably, if you were in the market for a Dimtree and you don't want to wait for like Nightbender, what I would do personally is try to pre-order one from Try to Tet. Well, actually, Tet's probably not happening with people doing that, but if you're about to spend like, I don't know, 700 million on a +7, you might as well put in like a 700 million on a Pry. There's a good chance you'll get it. Alright, shoes. We just looked at this, but let's see. Muskins, I think, are irrelevant. People shouldn't be pre-ordering this at all. Unless you're like a Ninja or Kuno, then you have a higher base evasion. So if you want to make a special build like that, you can. But dang, I don't think anyone pre-orders these. So if you want some boss gear like that, go for it. Functional clothes. This is a special one for life skillers. If you don't life skill, then don't worry about it. I always just kind of like checking stupid pre-order prices like this one for a +3. You guys can also see some of my videos of me enhancing it from, like, you know, just getting base ones and smashing it all the way to try. In my videos, I've done, well, actually, I'm wearing the +3. I've made that one. I actually made all of them because I'd rather not pre-order it for ridiculous prices. So, I would say 80% of the time, you can probably make a +3 for less than 60 million silver. Apparently there are people with too much money and just drop an extra number in their pre-order and pre-order for 500. That's kind of ridiculous. I think I can make any +3 for less than 60 million. Easy. Accessories are kind of difficult to talk about because everyone kind of does their own thing when it comes to various accessories. There are people who like playing full AP, which is the current meta, full DP, because they're annoyed at people with all AP. So yeah, I don't know. We'll just go from highest priority to lowest priority, and different ones that I'll talk about. Of course, no one hits pen accessories. So, crescents are the ones you currently want to be going for if you're going for just straight up AP. My opinion would be 12 or 13 billion for pre-order. Red coral rings are, I guess, people just on a budget because it gives both accuracy, or not accuracy, AP DP. If you are like a mid-tier player, hold on, cooking utensil went out. Let me fix that real quick. Okay, sorry. Delayed. Where were we? If you're like a mid-tier player, progressing between like beginner accessories or Asula, and you don't have enough to get boss or yellow accessories, Mark of Shadow is okay. One thing I would highly recommend for all of you, if you are trying to get a Mark of Shadow, try to snipe one off the market. Try not to enhance one yourself, because you'll probably end up spending more just trying to enhance one, to the point where you could just you'd like probably be more cost efficient just buying the boss or yellow piece anyway. So if you can get a Tet off the market, that's great, but I wouldn't enhance it myself. Or if you want to just stay at try Mark of Shadow, that is also good. Tet is basically the same as a, well, actually a slightly worse version of a try Crescent, but once again, these are for like budget builds. Kadri is the DP version of the rings. You have to really want to make a special build to buy one of these. I wouldn't say they're bad, but like you can't just go half and half on DP and AP. You really got to stack full DP if you want to go Kadris. And then everything else is kind of just a meme. Don't go for these Boris or Naros rings. You might as well do something else. Why someone pre-ordered that for 2.7 bill is beyond me, to the point where you might as well just get a Crescent. Alright, next. So the one that most people want to go for is a Tet Ogre. I personally don't have mine, maybe in the future, but they're expensive, and yeah, maybe one day. End game goal is the Ogre, the Leighton, or the Tungrad necklace. They're basically all the same thing with the same stats. What the difference is, Tungrad gives Black Spirit Rage, and so that's the full AP version. If you want a mix of evasion and AP DP, you go Sissel. I would not really recommend Sissel. I would just recommend just everyone go for Ogre, Leighton, or Tungrad. But if you want the hybrid, this is the one you go for. To be honest, if you get Tet off the market, that's okay, but I would probably not waste my stacks enhancing it unless you kind of YOLO it and hit the Tet on a low stack, then good for you. Budget build or if you are like on a budget and can't afford an Ogre, try to snipe a Tri or Tet Syrup off the market. Basically, pre-orders for Tri Ogres, I know this is Tet, but Tri Ogres go for about 6 to 8 billion. If you can win a Tet one, it's basically one less AP and half the cost, so that's good. Budget build, hybrid for Sissel, Ogre is what you want to go for. To be honest, like, those are really the only things you want to go for. If you want to, once again, do the DP one, you can do Benchos, but personally, for the necklaces, I would just go straight up AP. And let's go see how much like, yeah, 6 to 8 billion for Tri-Ogre. 5.2 for Leighton. That's actually really good. And then almost 7 for a Tungrad. If you can get a Tungrad necklace, that is technically a best over an Ogre and Leighton, but once again, more expensive. But it also is not really sold as often. So you get what you can get, to be honest. Alright, next, earrings. I just wanted to check pen just in case. Okay, so earrings. Tungrads are going to be your full AP ones. Probably something you should be aiming for as your endgame goal. Narc, if you like PvE, it's kind of like a hybrid one. So Tungrads better than Narcs, but if you want the extra DP or you only do PvE, then this is also okay. And by PvE, I mean you only grind in Common Sylvia. You're at like Montrams or Gyfin. Let's see, what else is there? I think that's it. There's red coral earrings and witches and a few other things. Red coral is just an accuracy one. You get a little bit less AP for higher accuracy. It really depends on the meta. I would personally just go Tungrads. Witches is like your budget earrings. It is technically a Tet Witch is the equivalent of a Tri-Tungrad and like 5 billion cheaper. Only if you can snipe it off the market. I would not recommend enhancing them yourself. Yeah, that's about it. Blue coral, once again, good budget one. Would not really recommend going for Tet on it. I guess like it would be an upgrade, but like 1.1 billion. That's actually not a bad price. But it's like there's these things called dead end items. So basically what that means is if you are trying to progress past the quote-unquote soft cap, you would want to be using it on like boss gear or yellow tier, right? So when you get stuff like witches, blue corals, blue whale molar, red corals, those are good for now, but like if you plan on playing this game long term, then it's not the greatest option. And I think blue whale is the equivalent of a Tri-Tungrad. However, the difference is it's stupidly expensive and it gives 100 extra health. Is it worth it? Probably not, but if you have the money and you can snipe it off the market, good for you, go for it. That's really about it. So just as a recap, blue coral, witches are budget. Red coral is if you want more accuracy. Blue whale is kind of like, I wouldn't really recommend it, but if I can't stop you, then it's extra health. But what you should be going for are Tungrads and potentially Narcs if you only do PvE. Alrighty, so next we have a few different ones, but most of them are just having different effects. So Basilisk Belt is something that most people will probably go for because it's slightly cheaper but it doesn't, and there's like more on the market. Well, there's none on the market, but more people will sell them versus a few other things. So the difference is there's a Basilisk Belt, there's a Voltara Belt, and there's a Tungrad Belt. Those are all your AP options. Tungrad will have one more AP at every level than the Voltara and Basilisk. However, those are more expensive, significantly more expensive. And the Voltara is the same thing as a Basilisk, except it gives extra health on top of it. So if you don't really care too much for the extra costs for the extra health, just go Basilisk. Tree Spirit Belt is your accuracy belt, a little bit less AP than Basilisk, but once again, if you need accuracy, go for that one. But current meta would just recommend saving a bit more for Basilisk. Centaur belts are your DR builds. Goes well with the Kaji rings and the bench shows and whatever DP stuff. I don't really know too much about it, but that's what you want to go for if you want full DP. The fact that some people are even making ancient weapon cores is kind of surprising, because you shouldn't be doing that. What you should be doing with ancient weapon cores is either selling it for max price or melting them for sharps. And then Tungrads, best in slot belt, 1 more AP higher than everything else, and also more expensive. I think we covered most of this stuff already. Well, the important things, I guess we can go over, like, I don't know, there's really not much to talk about for alchemy stones. You either have your damage dealing one, more resistances and life skill ones, and disposable. One thing you kind of do want to go for at some point in your life is the Vel. People pre-order them for stupid high prices, and don't do that. You want to try to get it off Vel, or just not get it for a really long time. Don't pre-order it for like 30 billion. I can guarantee you that is not worth the 3 AP. Unless you are like full pen, all armor, and weapon, it is probably not worth 30 billion. I don't really know how to do crystals, to be honest, but I could show you what I have. In my chess piece, I would prefer to have 2 Jin Kobes just for the extra DR. The bonds give you a little bit more health, and I can't stay on this for too long without, if you can't see it because the cooking thing, which is kind of stupid. But for Dark Knights, personally, I do 1 Awaken and 1 Crit Crystal. I think I value the health a little bit, and you get diminishing returns for having 2 Crit Crystals, so that's kind of the balance for me. But if I wanted like more damage, I would have 2 Crit. That same goes for the Kudum as well. Have the same crystals. Griffin Helm, I don't have any important crystals in there, but if I were to get something, I'd go for Jin Harpias, because those are health and the same thing. I don't know how much these pre-order, probably between 50 to 100 million, but Jin Harpias or the black magic ones that give resistance are the go-to ones. Beg's Glove, for all classes you want 2 Jin Vipers. I only have 1 because I can't get 2, and I'm not about to pre-order 1 for 450 million. I would rather make 1 myself, so that's why I only have 1. In terms of shoes, you could use a lot of different things, because it depends on what your class is and like what shoe you have in general. But for Urgons, I personally have 2 RBF crystals, and you could get them by doing RBF, or you could just buy them off the market. These are what they are, and they basically give resistances. In main hand, I'm not really too sure on every class, but I think most classes benefit from having 2 precision crystals in your main hand. So unless you're, I don't know if you need it if you're a witch or wizard, because you already have higher accuracy. So if you are a witch or wizard, you probably could use just straight up AP crystals, but every other class, I think you would benefit from precisions, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. Yeah, I think that's about it. We covered pretty much everything relevant. So if we could summarize things, don't pre-order Urgon shoes for 1 billion. It's not worth the money. Could probably get something else significantly cheaper. But yeah, overall, the market has been kind of like, it's not great lately. I think we are in a bad spot at the moment So like there's no boss gear. Actually, since the game launched, there's barely any boss gear just sitting on the market. People will buy them up at all times. So it's unfortunate that if I were to make some complaints about this game, well, actually I have a lot of complaints about this game. For newer players, I would say fix the world boss system. Where right now, most of the bosses are fine, where they have the global health bar. However, Kudum and Nuver are despawning every single time. That's because they have too much health and no one goes to it. And I guess as a new player, you're gonna, like, obviously they want you to get it at some point, right? And since the bosses are technically broken, well, not broken, but like no one ever clears them, and the developers like probably don't even have an idea that it's an issue, you are probably going to be getting it from Night Vendor or pre-ordering off the market, which kind of sucks if you have to pre-order it because you're just throwing money out the window, which I can't say I've never done. I've pre-ordered a few things in my life, but in this economy, that's how it is. It sucks, but you gotta do it. Is there anything else we could talk about? Oh yeah, if you are a new player, look at the special deals tab, because just buy things significantly cheaper than, like, what is this? A Barris 15 longsword, 9.3 billion, and I could sell it for 16 billion. I might actually do that. Longsword plus 15. Oh, actually, no, it won't sell. Actually, it might sell. I just have to sell it for, like, I would have to significantly undercut this, but I think I could profit off of it. Is it really worth the risk? Probably not, but just know if you are actually looking for the gear, check the special deals, because you can buy it for 16, or like there's Barris, right? 16.2 right here, or you can just scroll all the way down and get the same exact thing for 9. So that's the difference between like 7 million. It's not a lot for endgame players, but if you are starting out, every silver counts, and this is how you do it. So with that said, I think we covered everything. Current meta: Witch, Wizard, Striker, Mystic are the most wanted classes in Node Wars and PvP sieges. The flavor of the month classes are, besides those, are Ninja, Kuno, and Sort. Those are really strong classes. Everything else is, if you're not one of those 6 classes, then you're everything else. So I think we went over everything. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you stuck around all the way up until this point, thanks so much. We'll get back to normal videos in the near future, and I kind of like doing these videos every now and then. It helps me with my life skilling. We're cooking. How much more do we have? I think we're almost done. But anyway, every few months I kind of just like to check the market when the meta shifts and new flavor of the month classes come out, and just kind of see what people are pre-ordering. And yeah, so I think I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic night.